For 50 years, a question has haunted Japan. It seems innocent, polite even. But if you answer it wrong, you die. The question is simple. Am I pretty? It comes from a woman in a surgical mask. In Japan, this is common. Masks are worn for illness, privacy, protection. She doesn't stand out until she removes the mask, and you see what's underneath. This is Kuchisake-onna, the Slit-Mouthed Woman. In 1979, reports of her spread across Japan like wildfire. Schools went on alert. Parents walked children home. Police received hundreds of calls. Tonight, we're investigating the urban legend that caused mass panic in the 1970s and never really stopped. Kuchisake-onna approaches her target, often alone, often at dusk or after dark. She wears a surgical mask, a long coat. She looks normal. And then she speaks. "Watashi, kirei?" She asks in Japanese. "Am I pretty?" If you say no, she kills you, immediately, with scissors, a blade, a scythe. The method varies, but the result doesn't. If you say yes, she removes her mask. Her mouth has been slit from ear to ear. A grotesque wound, deep, unhealing, impossible. Some accounts describe it as a gaping smile. Others say the flesh is ragged and torn, still bleeding. She asks again, "How about now? Am I pretty now?" If you say no, she cuts you in half. If you say yes, she follows you home. And while you sleep, she takes her blade and slits your mouth to match hers. But there are escapes, strange, specific, unexplained. Tell her she's average, so-so. The contradiction seems to confuse her, and you can run. Throw candy at her feet. She stops to collect it, like a child distracted by a game. Or say the word pomade 3 times. Why this word? No one knows. But in dozens of accounts, it works. She hesitates, vanishes, lets you go. In the spring of 1979, the sightings began. It started in Gifu Prefecture. Children reported a woman in a mask asking questions near schools. Then the reports spread. Fukushima, Niigata, Osaka, Tokyo. Within weeks, nearly every prefecture in Japan had sightings. Schools increased security. Some shortened hours. Parents formed walking groups. The panic was real. One account from Gifu stands out. A mother reported that her daughter came home from school crying, claiming a woman in a white mask had followed her for 3 blocks, asking, "Am I pretty?" over and over in a flat, emotionless voice. When police investigated, they found no one. But what they did find were reports from 6 other children in the same neighborhood describing the same woman, the same white mask, the same question, all on the same afternoon. Some children described her as impossibly fast. Others said she appeared and disappeared without walking. A few claimed she could run at highway speeds, that once she started chasing, you couldn't escape. By the early 1980s, the panic faded. Scholars called it mass hysteria, a moral panic spread by rumor and media, children frightening each other. But the consistency of the accounts, the mask, the question, the slit mouth, remained unexplained. And then, decades later, she came back. Where did she come from? One version places her in the Edo period. A beautiful woman, married to a samurai. Vain and unfaithful, she had an affair. When her husband discovered her betrayal, he took his blade and mutilated her, slitting her mouth from ear to ear. "Who will think you're pretty now?" he asked as she bled. She died from the wound, or she survived, disfigured and vengeful. Depending on who tells the story, her spirit returned, obsessed with the beauty she lost, endlessly asking the question her husband mocked her with. Another origin ties her to a botched medical procedure, cosmetic surgery to widen the mouth, a beauty trend in certain eras that went catastrophically wrong. The woman died on the operating table. Now she haunts clinics and train stations, asking the question she never got answered. A third version connects her to Kashima Reiko, another vengeful spirit with a similar disfigurement and a similar question. Some folklorists argue they're the same entity, others insist they're separate. But here's the disturbing part. In 2004, a woman's body was found in Tokyo's Aoyama district. Cause of death: self-inflicted wounds. She had used scissors to cut her own mouth from ear to ear, almost perfectly replicating the Kuchisake-onna injury. Investigators never determined why. Some speculated she was trying to become the legend. Others whispered that the legend had found her first. The case was closed. The questions remain. Kuchisake-onna didn't stay in the 1970s. In the 2000s, new reports emerged online. Internet forums filled with testimonies, people claiming encounters with a masked woman asking the question. Some described her near train stations, others in parks at night, a few in convenience store parking lots. The COVID-19 pandemic gave her new life. With surgical masks suddenly universal, anyone could be Kuchisake-onna. The anonymity made the legend feel possible again. A Reddit user in 2021 posted about an encounter in Shibuya. A masked woman approached him outside a konbini at 2 a.m. She asked in halting English, "Am I beautiful?" He said yes, reflexively, trying to be polite. She smiled beneath her mask. He could see her eyes crinkle, and walked away without another word. He didn't see her face, but he swears that as she turned, the mask slipped for just a second, and her mouth stretched too wide. Another account from Osaka, 2022. A university student reported being followed for 3 blocks by a woman in a white coat and surgical mask. The woman maintained exactly the same distance. Never closer, never farther. When the student finally stopped and turned to confront her, she was gone. Paranoia, coincidence, or something that's been asking the same question for 50 years. Here's what we still don't understand. Why does the word pomade stop her? Some say it was her unfaithful lover's favourite hair product. The scent triggers a memory that breaks her focus. Others claim it's the word itself, that the specific syllables disrupt whatever drives her. One theory suggests it was a brand name on a sign she was staring at when she died. But nobody knows for certain, and that's what makes Kuchisake-onna different from most urban legends. The rules are specific: the question, the mask, the escape methods. But the reasons are never explained. Why a surgical mask? Why that question? Why does throwing candy work? The legend offers no answers, only the ritual. Kuchisake-onna has appeared in films, manga, video games, and horror tourism. She's been satirized and reimagined countless times, but the core legend remains unchanged. A woman in a mask. A question with no safe answer. A mouth that shouldn't exist. Japan's relationship with masks makes her uniquely resonant. Long before COVID, masks were common, worn for illness, privacy, anonymity. A mask makes you invisible, but it also makes you suspect. Kuchisake-onna weaponizes that ambiguity. The mask is both her disguise and her reveal. It hides the horror until the exact moment she chooses to show it. The mouth itself carries cultural weight. In Japanese aesthetics, a beautiful smile is prized. The mouth represents communication, truth, expression. A mutilated mouth, especially one destroyed as punishment, is a violation of beauty and social order. Kuchisake-onna's question forces a confrontation with beauty standards. There is no safe answer because beauty is subjective. The legend punishes both rejection and acceptance. Some scholars read her as a critique of how society treats women, valued for appearance, punished when that value is lost or when vanity is perceived. Others see her as a manifestation of social anxiety. The 1970s panic coincided with Japan's rapid modernization. Urban legends often emerge during times of change, giving form to fears that can't be spoken directly. And now, in the age of masks and anonymity, she feels relevant again. Children in Japan still know her name, still dare each other to say it 3 times in a mirror, still walk a little faster when they see a masked woman standing alone at night. Because urban legends don't need to be real to be true. Kuchisake-onna is a story about beauty, violence, and questions that can't be answered. And as long as people wear masks, as long as we fear strangers, as long as we wonder what's hidden beneath the surface, she'll keep asking. The woman in the 2004 case, the one who cut her own mouth, left no note, no explanation, just the wound that matched the legend perfectly. Did she believe she was becoming Kuchisake-onna, or did something compel her to recreate the injury? We'll never know. But the question remains. Am I pretty? You know the answer doesn't matter. You know it's just a legend, an old story told to scare children on dark streets. But next time you see someone in a mask, standing a little too still, a little too close, you'll think about that question. Subscribe to Archive of the Unseen for more folklore that refuses to die. We investigate the legends, the sightings, and the mysteries that blur the line between story and reality. Because some legends don't need to be real to follow you home. And if she ever asks you that question, maybe just say she's average.